You just spent 2 hours making your paint perfect. The gloss is unreal. Every panel looks wet. You step back and admire the work, then you pop the hood. Dust, oil residue, grime caked into every crevice. The contrast is brutal. So you grab a hose, spray everything down, hit it with some degreaser, and rinse it clean. Engine bay looks brand new. You close the hood feeling accomplished. 3 days later, your check engine light comes on. A week after that, your car won't start. What went wrong? Most people think cleaning an engine bay is just like washing the exterior. Spray it down, scrub it, rinse it off. But here's the reality. Your engine bay is not a painted panel. It's a complex electrical system surrounded by heat-sensitive components, sealed bearings that aren't actually waterproof, and connectors that were never designed to handle direct water pressure. One wrong move, and you're looking at electrical gremlins, corroded terminals, damaged sensors, or worse. And the worst part, the damage doesn't always show up immediately. It creeps in over days or weeks, and by the time you realize what happened, the repair bill is already in the hundreds or thousands. Here's what's really happening when you detail an engine bay incorrectly. Water is getting into places it was never meant to go. Modern engines have dozens of electrical connectors, sensor plugs, coil packs, and control modules. Most of these have rubber seals or boots designed to keep out moisture from normal driving conditions like rain or road spray. But they were not engineered to withstand direct spray from a pressure washer or even a garden hose at close range. When you blast water into the engine bay, you're forcing moisture past those seals. It sits inside connectors, creates corrosion on pins, and disrupts electrical signals. You might not notice anything wrong at first because the engine runs fine when it's warm and everything is temporarily dry. But once that moisture settles in, especially in humid climates or after the car sits overnight, the problems begin. I've seen this happen more times than I can count. Customer brings in a car for a full detail. Engine bay is filthy. They specifically ask for it to be cleaned. We do it the right way, but plenty of shops don't. They pressure wash everything, soak it with degreaser, rinse it with high pressure, then blow it dry with compressed air. The car leaves looking incredible. 2 weeks later, the customer is back asking if we did something to the engine, because now it's misfiring, or the ABS light is on, or the throttle response is erratic. That's not a coincidence. That's water intrusion causing short circuits, corroded grounds, or damaged control modules. Let me show you exactly why this happens. Take a typical coil pack connector. It has a rubber boot that slides over the coil. Under normal conditions, that boot keeps moisture out. But if you spray water directly at it with any kind of pressure, water can wick underneath the boot and sit on top of the coil pack terminal. Now you have a wet electrical connection. When the engine tries to fire that cylinder, the spark can arc to ground. Instead of jumping the gap at the spark plug, you get a misfire. Or worse, you damage the coil pack entirely. Multiply that across 6 or 8 cylinders and you've just created a nightmare diagnostic situation. The same principle applies to every sensor, every connector, every module in the engine bay. This is where most people go wrong. They think because the engine bay gets wet when it rains, it's safe to spray it with water. But rain comes from above and drains naturally. It doesn't get forced into connectors under pressure. It doesn't pull in areas where it has no way to escape. When you spray an engine bay from the side or from below, you're introducing water at angles and with force that the engineers never accounted for. And this is the part nobody explains. Even if the car starts fine after you wash it, the damage might already be done. Corrosion doesn't happen instantly. It builds over time. A tiny bit of moisture trapped in a connector starts oxidizing the metal. Resistance increases. Signals degrade. Sensors start reading incorrectly. And suddenly you're chasing electrical issues that seem random, but all trace back to that one detail session. Here's another example. Mass airflow sensors. These are delicate instruments that measure airflow into the engine. They have tiny heated elements inside that are extremely sensitive. If you spray water directly into the intake area or soak the MAF sensor, you can damage those elements or leave residue that throws off the readings. Your car will run poorly, fuel economy tanks, and the check engine light comes on. The fix? Replace the MAF sensor. That's $200 to $500 right there. All because someone thought spraying the engine bay was harmless. Once that happens, the damage compounds. You start getting multiple codes. The mechanic replaces one part, clears the codes, but another issue pops up because there are several corroded connections, all causing different problems. You're playing whack-a-mole with symptoms instead of addressing the root cause, which was water intrusion during detailing. I've seen cars rack up repair bills over $1,000 trying to fix issues that all stemmed from an improperly cleaned engine bay. Now let's talk about what the industry doesn't want you to know. Automatic car washes and quick detail shops love offering engine bay cleaning as an add-on service. It's high margin, takes 5 minutes, and most customers can't tell if it was done correctly. They spray, they scrub, they rinse, they're done. No one is taping off connectors. No one is avoiding sensitive areas. No one is using the right products or techniques. Why? Because it takes time and knowledge, and time is money. It's faster and more profitable to just blast everything and hope nothing breaks before the customer drives away. And even if something does break, how are they going to prove it was the detail that caused it? They can't. So shops keep doing it the wrong way because there's no immediate consequence. Most people think you need a pressure washer to clean an engine bay. Actually, a pressure washer is one of the worst tools you can use. The force is too high, the spray is too concentrated, and it drives water exactly where you don't want it. Others think a simple garden hose is safe. Wrong again. Even a garden hose can push water into connectors if you're not careful. Some believe that if they just spray everything with degreaser and let it sit, the dirt will magically fall off. Not true. Degreaser needs agitation to work, but aggressive scrubbing can damage labels, crack plastic covers, and dislodge protective boots. Here's what you need to watch for. If your engine bay has a layer of oil and grime, that's actually contamination bonded to surfaces. When you spray water on it without proper degreasing, you're just moving it around. When you use too much degreaser, it can seep into areas it shouldn't and cause issues with rubber seals or plastic components. If you rinse before the degreaser has had time to break down the oils, you're wasting product and leaving residue behind. And if you don't dry everything properly afterward, you're inviting corrosion and electrical issues. Look for these warning signs after an engine bay detail: rough idle misfires, warning lights, difficulty starting, erratic sensor readings. If your car was running fine before the detail and starts acting up afterward, moisture intrusion is the likely culprit. Check your rinse water too. If it's not draining cleanly out of the engine bay, water is pooling somewhere it shouldn't be. Certain cars are at higher risk. Anything with a lot of electronics packed tightly together. German cars with complex engine management systems, turbocharged engines with multiple sensors and actuators. Hybrid and electric vehicles where high voltage components are present. Older cars where seals have degraded over time. If you drive any of these, engine bay detailing requires extra caution. So here's the fix. Start with the engine cold. Never detail a hot engine bay because water hitting hot components can cause thermal shock and cracking. Cover or tape off sensitive areas. Alternator, battery terminals, exposed fuse boxes, coil packs, any open connectors, the MAF sensor, and the intake. Use a dedicated engine degreaser that's safe for plastics and rubber. Apply it with a brush or spray bottle, not by soaking everything. Let it dwell for the recommended time, usually 3 to 5 minutes. Agitate with a soft detailing brush to lift grime. Here's the critical part. Rinse with low pressure, a light mist from a hose with a gentle spray nozzle, not a jet stream, not a pressure washer. Just enough water to rinse away the degreaser and dirt. Keep the water flow away from electrical components. Rinse from top to bottom so water naturally drains downward and out of the engine bay. Once rinsed, dry everything immediately. Use compressed air if you have it, but keep the pressure low and the nozzle at a safe distance. Blow out water from crevices and around connectors. Use microfiber towels to wipe down surfaces. Don't skip this step. Leaving water to air dry just gives it more time to seep into places it shouldn't be. After drying, apply a light engine bay dressing to plastics and rubber to protect them and restore their appearance. Let the engine bay sit open for at least 30 minutes before starting the car to ensure everything is completely dry. Compare the cost of doing this correctly versus the cost of repairs. A quality engine degreaser is $10 to $15. A set of detailing brushes is another $20. Microfiber towels you probably already have. Total investment, under $50. Compare that to a $500 alternator replacement, a $300 coil pack repair, or a $1,000 ECU fix. The savings are massive. Here's the takeaway. Engine bay detailing is not about blasting everything with water and hoping for the best. It's about understanding what you're working with, using the right technique, and protecting sensitive components. Technique matters more than the products you use. Prevention is infinitely cheaper than correction. Don't buy into the idea that you need expensive tools or professional equipment. You just need to follow a system that respects how modern engines are built. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had an electrical issue after detailing your engine bay? Drop a comment and let me know what happened. If this video helped you avoid a costly mistake, hit the like button and subscribe because next week, I'm breaking down the truth about ceramic coatings and why most of them fail within 6 months. Remember, your car is an investment. Treat it like one. Don't let bad detailing habits destroy what you've worked hard to maintain.